Bolton Wanderers, a team that have had their financial difficulties in recent years and have seen what, for the most part, in the last 4 seasons, have been on a upwards trajectory, having appointed Ian Evatt back in July 2020 in the depths of their relegation from League One. After their 12-point deduction, they have been on quite the trajectory. However, the mood at the Tough Sheet Stadium this season has turned rather sour, having seen that Bolton lost the playoff final just last season, and following a 2-0 loss at the Tough Sheet to Wigan back in mid-December, the mood has sort of changed towards Evatt and his tone. A lot of people passed it off as just a player thing, but now they're starting to see the mentality of Evatt, and it's been a bit of a downturn. But like, subscribe, all the usual jazz, and let's get into it. So back in July 2020, Bolton appointed former Barrow manager Ian Evatt, and with him brought in the summer window former Swindon striker Owen Doyle. He had 25 goals from League Two Swindon, Alex Baptiste, Lloyd Isgrove, Gethin Jones, Matt Majilks, Ricardo Santos, MJ Williams, Anthony Sarcevic, Dapo Afolayan, and a lot of these players were quite key in Bolton's promotion push, and they would eventually get promoted in May 2021 away at Crawley after they won 4-1, and it was the start of something. A lot of Bolton fans began to believe in Evatt's system. They backed him, and it was a rebuild that Bolton were on. Now, for the summer in 2021, Evatt's main concern was just survival. Now, at the start of the season, they did begin quite well, but then the events of the 16th of October 2021, where Wigan turned up at the Univolt and they smashed them 4-0 in what was a stark showing, and probably the true colours were beginning to show of Evatt. Now, in January, he did bring in Dion Charles. There was also Kachunga, Bud Varson, Declan John, George Johnson, former Wigan man, Sheehan, Bakayoko, Aimson, now at Wigan, Joel Dixon, Afolayan on a permanent, and that's just to name a few. And Bolton were eventually finishing 9th in a very stellar season in their first season back, and a lot of people did still back Evatt, but there were some mentality issues there. And in the first half of the rematch against Wigan at the DW, there were quite a few things that a lot of Bolton fans were beginning to notice, and maybe it wasn't just a mentality of the players, but maybe the manager as well. And as far as the board were concerned, they had achieved their survival, finishing 9th with 21 wins, which is a pretty stellar achievement for a first season back. Now, lots of Bolton fans were wanting a playoff finish now, looking upwards to the 22-23 season, and in the summer window, Evatt would bring in Adebayo from Burton, Cameron Jerome from Luton, Iredale from Cambridge, Randall Williams from Hull, Owen Toll, centre-back from Derry, Bete Tabou from Man City, James Trafford back again from last season from Man City, and Connor Bradley from Liverpool. Now, a lot of these players have gone on to be very, very good for their clubs, and it was indeed a good season for Bolton as they would finish 5th. However, they did lose to Barnsley. In the first leg, they had a 1-1 draw where Dion Charles did score, and a lot of Bolton fans would have taken that as a respectable result. However, in the Oakwell game in the second leg, they did lose 1-0. Now, a lot of fans did still back Evatt, and following Wigan's relegation from the Championship after their financial difficulties, there was a lot of hope for the rematch that they could definitely beat Wigan. And again, for Evatt's summer window, he brought in Nathan Baxter and also Josh Dakers-Cogley. He also brought in Caleb Taylor, Will Forrester, and Nathaniel Ogbeta. However, there were quite a few players that were frozen out. For example, Declan John, who was a very good player, but this just again starts to show the mentality of Evatt, freezing out players who you think could have deserved to start, and maybe it wasn't going to be all smooth sailing. And that was proven on the 19th of August 2023 when Wigan again came to the Tough Sheet and battered Bolton 4-0. Bolton did not look up for it, and considering that, this is when the mood began to get a little bit sceptical, because the target now was automatic promotion, and if you're losing 4-0 to your rivals, it's not the best looking thing.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. I went Wigan were completely all over Bolton. It looked like Bolton didn't know how to play football, if I'm honest. It's not the first time it's happened, but it seems every time Bolton play Wigan, they switch off. They get like nervous, they panic, and I just think they don't know how to play football. I don't know if that's down to the manager not giving them enough like team talk, or if it's just down to the players knowing it's a big game, thinking they have to deliver, and worrying too much on that than just how to play football.
But as Alfie just said, as we continued on into the 2023-24 season, Bolton were still pushing for automatic promotion, but then two crucial games against Blackpool and Wigan, again in the reverse fixture, proved too much for Joel Coleman, who was the backup goalkeeper, and quite possibly did cost them promotion in the end. However, Bolton did still finish third and played Barnsley yet again in their playoff semi-final, but this time it was a lot better for them had they beat Barnsley 3-1 at Oakwell, with Randall Williams scoring for a corner, and a moment of magic from Aaron Collins, and then a header from Owen Toll in the second leg set them on their way. But in that second half, there were signs. There were signs that they could have bottled it. We had Cosgrove and Adam Phillips scoring. There was a nervy finish, but they did get to Wembley, and that did sort of cast a shadow of doubt in my mind, especially. And when they turned up for the final against Oxford, they were completely outclassed. And that is when a lot of Bolton fans said that Evatt was not good enough anymore. We have seen this season, he's had even better window. He signed John McAtee, who was on loan at Barnsley last season. He was one of the most influential players in their playoff push, and they only just made it. They've had Sabi Shun, Luke Southwood, Scott Arfield, Chris Farino from Wickham, Claudia Lawless from Crawley, Jay Matete, and currently they sit 10th. Now, we know the mentality of Bolton has been affected this season, and again came to a head when they played Wigan and lost 2-0 to quite possibly one of the worst Wigan sides we've seen in a long time. Now, Bolton, again, from the game that I saw, they did not look up to it completely. Even before the game, there was quite a few nervous faces, especially from George Johnston. Again, Bolton were just off it. There's a lot of stuff been spoke about Evatt's mentality, and the club statement came from club CEO Sharon Britton saying that they wanted to keep him on for the remainder of the season, which, if I was a Bolton fan, to be fair, that would be baffling. Their transfer window that they've had McAtee, Collins and Charles up top. That's the most ridiculous attack in the league, and they're not even getting the best out of that.
I think I can speak on the back of all Bolton fans. We've realised it's not the players. We've got quality players that are good enough to push for that playoff, even maybe autos. But I just don't think Ian Evatt has the technical skill anymore as he used to when we were in League Two to get us promoted. He's had many chances, and that's shown from last 2 seasons, getting us playoffs. Last season getting the playoff final but losing to Oxford. I don't think he has the technical skill, and that reflects on the players, as it's just they're not delivering. And I think Evatt's tactic needs improving if he wants to stay in his job. I think Shannon's giving way too many chances, and the fact we sit 10th, winning 2 out of our last 6 games, it's not looking good. I think we need a replacement unless he can get his shift on.
Yep, and we see as well, like just on Boxing Day just gone, Barnsley did beat Bolton 2-1, and the second half was all Barnsley, and Evatt's sitting back on a 1-0 lead just sums up the mentality not of only him but the players this season. And despite them having 2 games in hand, they sit 10th with 31 points, minus 2 goal difference even. And I think that for the future now, from a Wigan fan's perspective, if they want to progress, they have to get rid of Evatt. There's no other way about it. He's not really good enough. He's proved it, and it's not looking good for them, especially with playoff pushers Lincoln next, and they've got Huddersfield in January as well. So whether or not they push on, only time will tell. But they've had quite a few comments I've seen, especially after the Wigan game now, where they've said Evatt needs to go. There was a club statement saying that they want to keep him on. They've got the full backing of him, but there's not much left for Evatt. As long as if Bolton keep the same people in, they won't progress. I don't think. If you get a proper CEO in, or if Sharon Britton has a proper look at herself, she will realise that Evatt's not got much time left, and I think he'll know that, especially with his body language, the way he walked down the tunnel against Wigan. It was a bit naive from him.
Yeah, Bolton are a big club as well. They're not a League One club in my opinion. They're a Championship club. But with the owners like Shannon not sacking Evatt after his abysmal start, and Evatt again not giving the fans what they deserve, what Bolton are expected. Like at the start of the season, they were expected playoffs, if not automatic promotion. But I think if Bolton don't get a change in manager, maybe owner, I think we might just be a League One club. But I think they deserve to be Championship.
Thank you for watching. It's our first video on the 48 show, so we hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a bit of a turbulent time, but for Bolton, it's looking a bit bleak. If they get playoffs this season, I think that would be a good achievement for them. Thank you very much for watching. From me and Alfie, we'll be back next week with a video about Blackburn. Also, our other admin, Jacob, will be on here. But just for now, like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and we'll see you next time.